Why is it so wrong for a woman to actively choose something else over traditional beauty standards when we live in a world where we have fought so hard to embrace unconventional beauty? Hello, lovely crew members, newcomers, but most importantly, OGs. Welcome to another rambling session. I'm your host, Lucy, aka Lucifer. I'm a formerly obese girl turned bodybuilder. In today's video, I want to talk a bit about female beauty standards and how bodybuilding fits into those, or not fit into those, depending on how you look at it. But before we get going, do me a little favor and hit that subscribe button. Our crew still has plenty of space and we would be very lucky to have you on board. Now, let's get into it. Beauty standards. A bane upon the female existence since the dawn of time. Or a blessing? Part of ever-evolving beauty standards are trends and phases that breed creativity in self-expression and foster communities. There are certainly positive aspects to having beauty standards, if you're willing to see them. For those born with features perfectly fitting into the beauty standards of their culture, those standards are certainly blessings, or they have been blessed by them. The halo effect is a real thing after all. For most of us, beauty is not necessarily something given by default, but something to aspire to. Especially for females, whose value has historically been almost solely determined by their beauty, youth, and or how appealing they are to the opposite sex. Meanwhile, men, on the other hand, have mostly been reduced to the contents of their wallet. Personally, while I find both takes stupid, I can acknowledge that throughout human history, there have been functional reasons why that has been the case for so long. I think it's wrong to reduce women to gold diggers and men to beings that simply cannot look past their third head. But I also believe that there is absolutely nothing wrong with greatly valuing these things if they are important to you. I mean, that would be very hypocritical of me. Aesthetics are very important to me, and I obviously would like my partner to have his ducks in a row, so to speak. I'm not saying you should be okay with dating a bum or someone that you don't find attractive, but I digress. In our modern day and age, where both men and women have thick wallets and beautiful appearances, the rise of unconventional beauty standards has shifted the landscape a bit. It has always existed and been admired, I assume, but in the era of movies and social media, we have seen many unconventional yet undoubtedly beautiful bodies, faces, and aesthetics all out in the open. One of those aesthetics is the beauty of rather masculine women, even much bigger than I. And this has been a trait that has traditionally been seen as more masculine, which is now being adopted by women all over the world who really enjoy the look. Certain things have always been gatekept from one or the other gender. For the longest time, it wasn't seemly for women to wear pants or for men to wear makeup, neither of which makes a lot of sense to me, and also it doesn't seem very fair. The right man can wear makeup and a dress and still look masculine. A woman can have a crazy amount of muscle and still look feminine. In fact, I love a man who is confident enough in his masculinity that he can wear some more feminine clothes or put on some makeup without feeling or looking like he's losing touch with his gender. That is badass, and confidence is sexy. Similarly, I think highly of women who can rock massive amounts of muscle while still expressing themselves very much as a woman. Women getting as big as they have in recent years has only been possible due to the introduction of PEDs. Previously, there was a hard cap on how much muscle we can gain, because our absolutely cooked chromosomes have nerfed our ability to put on size to the moon and back. Thanks, biology. Whether or not you find muscular women attractive, there certainly are a great many people that do. And it has been a very popular non-conventional beauty standards, although one that has received more criticism than most. I wonder if that is what it felt like to be a woman that walked around in pants back when it just came into fashion and was allowed. I'm sure that must have received a decent amount of criticism back then as well. Not too long ago, a girl messaged me on Instagram and she was asking why someone would want to transform themselves like this and if I'm not afraid of what might happen to my face. In case you don't know, steroids can affect what your face looks like. They can affect your bone structure and your fat distribution. In essence, this can make your face look more masculine than it started out. From what I understand, it does take some serious exposure or repeated exposure / for a longer period of time for that to seriously happen. But everyone is different anyway. There are no safe doses, so there are no guarantees. You basically roll a dice every time you take PEDs in terms of side effects. So there are girls that get absolutely huge while still retaining very feminine faces that have barely changed at all. Not everyone is that lucky, and you don't know where you will fall, basically. So she was asking if I was genuinely okay with that potentially happening to me, especially since I still have a pretty feminine face. I mean, I'm not like a supermodel face or anything, but I have an okay face. At least I think so. Anyway, so she was like, yeah, why would you risk that? The short answer, it's not the single most important thing in the world to me. Don't get me wrong, I love my face, but I think I'll still look handsome with a bit more of a Giga Chad jawline, if you will. Maybe I just have delusional level confidence, but I think I would still be beautiful even if I have some virilization going on. And besides that, I'm more than just a pretty face. I'm certainly not trying to get virilized. I'm working with a very knowledgeable coach whom I trust to do whatever she can to help me achieve my goals without virilizing me as much as possible. And if and when virilization happens, I have accepted that that is something that comes with the territory, and to me, it is worth it. Might not be to you, but to me it is. So to answer her question, no, I'm not afraid of it, nor am I blind to it. It's worth it to me. This is part of whatever it takes. I had years to think about this, and I want to live a life without regret as much as possible. I can live with a sharper jawline. I can't live wondering what if. I want to see how far I can go. I couldn't forgive myself for giving up on my dream. I heard Coach Colton talk about sunk cost fallacy in one of his recent videos, and I think that might certainly be true. I'm sure there are some girls out there who continued on their path because they figured, well, I have already virilized so much, might as well keep it going type thing. But I wanted to make sure I have my mind made up before I embarked on my PED journey. I just really wanted to make sure I know what I want and I know what I'm doing before it ever gets to that point. I have looked at what it looks like when virilized bodybuilders stop taking care of them properly. I may have to put in a little bit more effort down the line to still look feminine, and that's okay with me. That's worth it. Is that a bit crazy and extreme? Well, I'm an athlete in an extreme sport trying to see how far I can take it. This is who I am. By the way, this whole virilization thing, every time it is being discussed, people pull out videos of female bodybuilders on show day or just before show day, and you're gonna look like a shriveled up potato regardless. You are so lean, it's like all the bones in your face are gonna stick out basically. Your eyes are gonna be the sunken hollow husks, and you're basically gonna look like one of the Draug from Skyrim. If you look at my face, when I was ready to compete, I looked absolutely terrible as well, and that's no comparison to now, obviously. So women don't look like that, at least not all year round. Like that, you don't look that bad all the time. Let's put it like that. That is a prep thing where your face just starts to look like we call it skull face, because that's kind of what you start to look like, a bit like a zombie. But granted, I do have quite a chunky face. When I was obese, I actually had like a whole moon phase going on. It's quite the look. As said though, I am trying to virilize as little as possible, and I aspire to look like the women who still have retained a great deal of femininity despite being absolutely massive. I'll probably put some of them up now if I haven't already put them in this video somewhere, so you can look at them and how beautiful they are. I hope I can achieve that too, but ultimately it's gonna depend on how I, as an individual, respond. I won't know whether or not I can pull this off until I actually try and I start rolling the dice. I do hope for a natural 20, but I can live with it being a dud as well. But I cannot live with not trying. My ex's mom once asked me, "Why would you do something like this to yourself? You were such a beautiful woman." And I was a bit taken back because I'm like, I am more beautiful now than I ever was. I mean, that's the goal with this whole operation, is I want to become more beautiful and more badass. And so far it's going pretty well, if I do say so myself. So I was just thinking, what do you mean? It's a weird experience when your own perception of beauty deviates so noticeably from what other people perceive as beautiful, apparently. Why is it so wrong for a woman to actively choose something else over traditional beauty standards when we live in a world where we have fought so hard to embrace unconventional beauty? There is more to a woman than a petite, slim build and a hyper feminine pretty face. Why is it that the same people who usually root for female empowerment get upset with me when I tell them that I have found something that I love so much that I would potentially compromise my femininity or the femininity even of my face for? I am more than just that anyway. We apparently support unconventional beauty, but only until a woman who has somewhat conventional beauty features decides to trade that in happily for a less conventional look. Is it that if you have a choice between conventional and unconventional beauty, you're expected or supposed to choose the conventional beauty? To me, the only beauty standard that truly matters is my own. The only person whose tastes and preferences I want to appease is me. When I look in the mirror, I want to feel happy and beautiful, feel myself. So that is what I'm gonna do, and nobody can stop me. When I show someone pictures of the woman I look up to and aspire to look like one day, sometimes they make this face as if to say, "So you want to look ugly?" Well, if that looks ugly to you, then yes, I want to look ugly. I want to be ugly maxing for the next couple decades. I want to be me and express myself however I see fit, regardless of any societal expectations that might want me to be feminine in some more or less specific ways. I'm going to be feminine in a me way. And if I want to channel my inner tomboy and be more masculine, then I can do that too. the way I look at it, it's actually not that deep. It's crazy to me that for a lot of people, it's almost unimaginable that someone would want to look like a female pro bodybuilder, when to me, that's the dream. My chiropractor once asked me whether or not I'm afraid that most men won't find me attractive if I grow so much muscle. And I think people forget that that works both ways. I find most men very unattractive because they lack the type of muscle that I'm attracted to. Besides, there are things more important to me than attracting the most sexual attention from the most amount of men possible. I hope to attract the man, not as many as possible. And I would hope that the man would like me for, or find me attractive for exactly the way I am and hold similar values. What even is beauty, especially if it lies outside the traditional beauty standards? It's certainly subjective. I mean, one man's trash is another man's treasure, right? The majority will always gravitate towards the mainstream. That doesn't mean that it's wrong to put yourself in a niche on purpose. If you think bodybuilding removes a woman's pretty privilege, okay, now what? I say chase your own beauty standards. Be a trendsetter. Let what you like inspire you, and don't let anyone tell you that you can't or shouldn't chase a specific look that you enjoy because of your gender or because what other people might think. A man in heels is still a man. A woman in a suit is still a woman. Be secure in your gender, and the world is your oyster. However, if you put yourself on the internet, don't be upset if people have opinions. I might be one of them. I think that about does it for the moment. Let's conclude today's rambling session, shall we? But how about you? Do you have a sense of beauty that isn't super mainstream? Do you think I shouldn't worry about my face because it already is looking busted as hell and I have nothing to lose? Or do you get creative with your gender expression? Let me know in the comments below. I love hearing your guys' takes and opinions. That has actually been one of my favorite parts with this YouTube's endeavor so far. It's really great to hear how you feel and what your experiences are with the topics that we've discussed so far. That's been very interesting. But before you leave, please hit that subscribe button and have a good day. I'm gonna love you and leave you. I'll see you next time. Bye bye. Why someone would want to transform by a lot of females who oh, watch the cables. Hit that subscribe button. A bane upon the existence of trends and phases that breed in the era of even muscular than me. What am I saying? Without women getting as big as they have in recent history, the majority will always gravitate.